set up on YouTube real quick. We can start looking at some charts. I think we're live. Perfect. Alrighty. So, let's talk about the markets, guys. See what's going on. We had some big data that came out today. If anybody was paying attention, we had some volatility around like that 8:30 and 10 o'clock time frame. What ended up happening, it was we got core PCE and preliminary GDP came in. Also, jobs jolts came in at 10 a.m. So PCE is a core metric that the Federal Reserve uses to measure inflation. Inflation is still sticky. That usually means that what's the Fed going to do? The Fed's likely not going to cut rates. So that's not really always the most bullish news in investors' minds. Markets are forward thinking. Oftentimes, they're thinking what the Fed's going to do. And when, if inflation's worse and they think that there's a chance that the Fed's not going to hike anymore and they may even raise rates depending on how bad things get, especially with oil, markets are a little spooked right now. I think that's, and that data, I mean, look, it's still coming in at 0.4%. It's flat, but it's still up. It's more than they want. Like, that's not good. I guess whoever the analyst or whoever that plugs these things into Forex Factory makes these predictions, they actually nailed it this week pretty well on a few different things. So I got to give them props there. GDP is not looking great, right? So previous is 1.4%. We came in at 0.7, so we came down half. What GDP is that shows the growth. It's a good metric for showing the growth of an economy. When GDP is not growing as fast, or it's starting to decline and slow down, people start to get a little cautious. It's showing that people aren't spending as much. People are starting to be a little more selective on their buys. Maybe, things are getting a little pricey, and people are a little worried. So that's what GDP is telling us. And jolts, I mean, that's the job openings, right? So what's the Fed's main thing? Their main thing is to combat inflation and, job market, the strength in the job market. Those are their biggest things. So jolts actually beat. It came in at 6.55 million, and it's now at 6.95. So, I mean, look, it came up a little bit. So that means there's more job openings out there. Don't feel like that. I mean, at least that's not what I'm hearing on the streets, but it just, that's a positive piece of news. I think the markets reacted a little bit off of it today. Let's talk about the S&P, right? SPY. I mean, look, SPY's, I'm going to give you guys my prediction of where they think this thing's going. And I don't like to say, I'm not saying trade this, NFA, by the way, but we're coming down to the $6,100 level. And for good reason. One, we broke daily structure. We broke the daily range. Our range on SPY was up here and here. And we were chopping around there for a while, and we lost that range. So I need you to look at it like this. Daily structure's lost, right? We lost the daily low. You go to weekly, we're losing the previous weekly low. So what is next? Look, this is the next level down here, 6,500. But I could tell you this, at some point, I think we do make our way up down to the 6,150. If you go back in time on SPY, every time SPY has ever broken out of a new high, break a new all-time high, guess what? It comes back and back tested at some point before it continues up. Look, I'm going to show you another one right here. We came back. Now, it wasn't exactly back there, but it was pretty damn close. And you could follow this pattern over and over and over on SPY. It does it over and over. Every time it makes a new high and breaks, it eventually comes back down and retests that level. And I'm just going back in time over the years, guys. I mean, you could see there's always, sometimes it's not as extreme, but I mean, like more often than not, it's going to happen. Since we started this uptrend back, what was it, 2008? In this uptrend, that has been the trend. SPY breaks out, it comes back. Right now, and it always happens, right? This is a little bit of learning for you guys. It always happens after a weekly structure break. Look at this. Last time we broke down and retested that previous all-time high. It was started on the weekly structure break. We back tested, and it ran all the way down. What are we starting to get now? Well, it's looking pretty close. I mean, that's a weekly low right there. So what I'm thinking is this is now resistance for me. This 67.20 is now resistance. If SPY doesn't get back over this quick, we're coming down. And I think eventually we make it back down here. Maybe not all the way. Maybe we even overshoot it. But at some point, I think this level will be tested or around this level. So that's an overall generalization for the market. You know, everything follows the big dogs. I can hear you on repeat. Sorry, you know what it is? What's up, Ben? Oh, you know what it was? If your volume was really high, I had my I'm watching my YouTube in the background to make sure that the feed's good. I think the volume was up just a little bit. My bad, guys. I fixed it. Trends for you? What level, bro? What level are we bouncing on? You tell me. I swear to God, if you're talking about a 5-minute, bro, I'm going to roast you right now. What level? Because we ain't bouncing anywhere. The weekly's here, my boy. And the next daily level, it ain't until down here. I'm just going, look, man, if you're going to be a troll tonight in the chat, or if you want to challenge me, but if you're wrong, I'm going to let you know you're wrong. And we ain't bouncing off any level right now on SPY. If you're probably on a fucking 5-minute, dude, I guarantee you're probably all the way down here somewhere in the weeds. I always love when people give me TA and they're on like some stupid low time frame. I'm just like, Jesus, man. Now I know how Ben fucking feels. What's up, Ben? Yeah, guys, look, Ben put up a new course on our website, tacticalhedgetraders.com. If you want to learn to trade, he has free courses up there. The last one he just put in is strategy versus entry model, which is very important because you can have a strategy. Doesn't mean you know how to enter. There's an entry model and there's a strategy, and every trader needs to know that. And if you could focus on one entry model and not multiple, you will be way more successful. You can run the same you can run many different strategies with the same entry model. Like it's ridiculous, but you should go check it out. Also, check out the Discord. And if you're not following, if you're not subscribed, go ahead and do that. You'll get notifications when we go live 6 days a week. Even on Friday nights, I got no life. This is what I do. Charts and trading. I'm a full-time trader. Ben is a full-time trader. We have many people in the Discord who are aspiring to become full-time traders. Come join an awesome community, guys. Anyways, enough of me shilling. So that's S&P, my guys. So whoever's saying we're bouncing off of a level, you got to tell me what level we're talking about. Look, Qs, same situation, man. We talked about this a while back. We left the gap back, right? We left the gap here on Qs. I was back there. And this level basically now becomes like support and resistance over time. If you actually just drag this out, like these levels when they kind of get hit. Look, if we make it back down here and lose this bottom of this gap, we're coming back down to 24,000 pretty quickly. This is like we're at the last level of support. Is pretty much what I'm telling you. If we come down and we tap this level again, I want you to think about, look, support and resistance is like a door. The more you bang on that door, the weaker the hinges are going to get, and eventually it's going to smack. We've hit it once, twice, 3 times. You know, I've heard of double tops, double bottoms, triple tops, triple bottoms, but I've never heard of quadruple tops or quadruple bottoms as being reversal patterns. So, but look, ultimately we are in a range, so we don't fade support. We don't just go short into this, but I get more weary the more times this hits. So the 4th time, I don't know, man. We'll see what happens. But if it loses this level at 24,000, I'll tell you where NASDAQ's going to, where the Qs are going. They're going to do the same thing that SPY did, and it's the same pattern. There's your all-time high. This is a little bit more volatile, so you'll see wicks. But look, previous time we broke out, all-time high, right? off the weekly swing high. And you can kind of see the pattern repeats. I could go through it again. Sometimes it doesn't get all the way there, but it's pretty damn close, right? So kind of my thinking on that. Like, history tends to repeat. Plus, it just would be it's the next logical place for it to go. So this is the level, man. We start losing this thing. This thing's coming down. You lose 24,000, this thing runs down back to, like, I think into the, something that starts with a 2-2. So I don't know exactly where it'll go, but I just got a feeling it would get there. But for now, we're in a range. So this support needs to hold on cues for things to look good. I got you, bro. Appreciate it. I wasn't even paying attention, dude. Trading never leaves my brain. Sure, I'll jump on the live. Hell yeah, man. Look at cattle futures for me? Yeah, I could look at some cattle futures. What's the fucking ticker, bro? Just cattle? Do you have like a particular one you use? I'm just going to look at this one, the CME one, live cattle futures. Oof. Oof. Okay. All right, let's talk about this, right? So if this is the right chart, maybe I'm on the wrong one, but you'll let me know if I am. What are we seeing here? Well, we have a significant high. We lost a little bit of a trend here. If you have drawn like when it got steep right after this breakout, right there. See where we back test? So if you would start a little bit of a trend just right up here and kind of run that up, we had lost that trend. We came down, took some liquidity here. We got a bounce, and we're now putting a lower high. So, I mean, shit, if it loses this level, the next level down, I mean, it's pretty simple for cattle futures, man. So if we start rolling over here and this thing is not reclaimed and we can't take the highs, this becomes a lower high, your expected area on the weekly is going to be down at like 206. If you lose 206, it's coming down to 192. So I think those are the big levels if to the downside on cattle futures. I mean, look, there's always a chance that this thing's going to run back up, but this is the high to beat. I mean, look, anything below this is a lower high, and then you start to go attack that daily and weekly low, and that's going to be an important level. So let me guess, your short, Ben? But yeah, I mean, it's looking a little bearish here. Let me see if there's any divergence. Yeah, more money flow's coming out on this thing on the daily, and yeah, momentum's definitely to the downside. So you're coming up on some key levels right now. If you go and zoom in on the 4-hour on cattle futures, right around this level here, this is going to be an important level to watch. See this low? This is very important. You start dropping there, that's where things escalate quickly. You see how we moved up and we kind of got really aggressively here? This could come back very quickly. There's probably a lot in there too. Yeah, there's no volume below us. Volume drops off. So hold 226 if you want to be bullish. If you start losing 226, man, 206 is looking very likely. So that's what I'm seeing on cattle futures. I'm trying to read the chat, guys. By the way, there's like 42 people watching right now. Hit that like, subscribe. I appreciate everybody for hanging out and coming in and tuning in on a Friday night. That's like some serious dedication if you're watching the charts on a Friday. But yeah, you'll get notifications when we go live. We go live 6 days a week. My name is Eddie. I am a trader at Tactical Edge Trading. What I can say about us, we are a trading group. We're a tight-knit community. We're all serious about trading. We're like-minded about the market and thinking in that sense. And we just basically want to make each other better as traders. There's a few of us full-time traders. It's Ben and Nick who run the Discord. They're like the ones that brought me on. And they've started the group. They're the founders. And they've been doing this for a decade each. And all I can say about the two of those guys is if you want to learn, you're not going to learn from anybody better. They're probably the best I've seen. And I'm a full-time trader as well. I've been doing this for a couple years, about 6 years. I mean, it wasn't full-time. I started trading 6 years ago. But I've been in many groups. I've been in Crypto Banter. I was a mentor there for a while. I taught people how to trade. I've been in all the groups, man. That's all I'm going to say. And like, I never found a legit one until this one. So if you want to be part of something like that, it's tacticaledgetraders.com. It's free to join. There's courses. We put it up there. We don't sell courses, is what I'm going to say. And they also can join the Discord from there. There's a link, and the Discord is free, and you can be around a real trading community. We don't fuck around. We trade live, too, Monday through Friday. All right, so I'm going to take some caller requests. And what do you guys want to look at? Kind of went over my gist of the market. I'm not going to talk about crypto unless anybody asks about it. So if you guys want to look at something, throw it in the chat. Inverted Adam and Eve says is more downfall. Yeah, it does look like an inverted Adam and Eve, doesn't it? Yeah, it looks bearish, man. But I wouldn't go too crazy. So, you know, there might be some fuckery at this level. This thing could bounce for a bit. So what's the page? TacticalEdgeTraders.com. It's a pretty legit website, my dude. Ben put it together himself. He did a great job with it. He did all the coding and all that shit, dude. It's crazy. And he has a lot of videos up there. So how much money have you made in all those years? I mean, look, I haven't really kept 100% count exactly how much money I made, because a lot of my money goes back into me trading and, you know, covered. But I've been able to pay my bills, save money, you know, go on vacation, do whatever the fuck I want. I'm not like rich by any means. I'm still early in my career. Trading, look, growing an account takes years, like way more years. I've only been profitable for like 3.5 years. First like couple years of my trading was not good, guys. It was not good. A lot of stupid shit. But you know, you learn over time if you stay dedicated, and eventually you'll get it. But yeah, I'm building my account. I'm building my account. Hopefully, I mean, I'm taking like $20,000 positions usually when I take a trade now. I wasn't doing that 2 years ago. I was probably taking more like $5,000, $6,000 positions. So, you know, it's just the way to think about it. It's like a percentage thing. What's the page? All right. It seems like SPY will correct 15 to 20%. I agree with you, positive thinking. I do agree with you, my dude. Or dudette. I do think it's probably coming down. I think U.S. oil is going to keep running up. Just want to throw this one out there. I gave this trade in. I'll tell you where I gave this trade. I gave this trade in the Discord, right? And look, we're not a signals group, but I do post my trade ideas and I post what I'm looking at. I gave this trade all the way back here. When it broke out of this little range right here, I was like, this thing's going to go. This thing right here. I'll show you. So simple. And I posted it. Guess where we were at before oil broke out? We were sitting in this little consolidation right here. And I'm just telling you guys, if you go check the Discord, you can actually see it. I said, hey, oil's about to pop. I was like, it's just consolidating. I was like, and it was like a weekend before a lot of like rumors were running around about like an Iranian attack, like an attack on Iran. And I was like, I got a feeling on this one, boys. And I posted it, and I fucking posted and didn't take the damn fucking trade, guys. Didn't take the trade. Like, how crazy is that? But I think some people made some money on it. But I did get a piece of it, though. I got in on this dip here. So this dip here, there was an inverse head and shoulders. Actually, Ben had it on his screen, and I think he was looking at it, but he didn't say it. So I took the glory and said it first. And then we posted this in the Discord as well. And we're like, hey, watch for the pop here. You got a little bit of a neckline right there. And when it started to consolidate, I threw it out there again. I was like, yo, oil looks like it's about to go. And it's been trending up, and it's continuing to trend up. So I think as long as tensions are tight, this thing's going to continue to go up. But maybe it has topped. We'll see. I wouldn't go fading it just yet, though. That's just my feelings on it, because we've just broken another major level here in the short term, right? It just keeps breaking up. Like every time it like consolidates, just breaking new levels. So the next logical level for it to go is like on a lower time frame is maybe there, like 104. But higher time frames, if I'm looking at the daily, this is the high, man. It's coming back up to 120. There's no reason to fade this thing yet. What's up, user 33? You have a question, but stomach is a bit messed up. Fucking, I should have read that in my head before I read it out loud. Thanks, dude. Yeah, I'll be waiting here after you fucking go blow up the toilet. Oh, that's funny, dude. What do you think about SoFi? You know what, man? I wish Ben was here because he's been watching SoFi all week, so he could probably give a way better analysis on it than me. But I'll look at it. He's been posting this thing in the Discord a bunch. Whew. All right, so look at this. I'll give you this one. You're at a key level right now, and you can see why it's a key level. That was the weekly break. Like, this was the weekly high before it actually took off and like cracked this level. So if it's gonna hold, it's gonna do it here. Like, if it's gonna put up a stand, I think the bulls try it here. And you can see we're getting reactions on the daily, right? What you don't want to see here is you don't want to see this low's lost. So if you lose that 1688, dude, this thing could get a little rough, right? It could drop down, and probably its next target, like on a daily, is not down to about $13. That's a pretty big drop, and then below that could be even $8.50. So you really want to hold here. Let me see what it looks like on Diverge. I mean, the momentum is down. Like, it looks like it's reset on the weekly. Let me get rid of Market Cipher real quick. I mean, momentum is down. When you see momentum is reset like that and you're sitting at weekly support, I wouldn't go trying to short it, is all I'm saying. This thing, I don't know, man. This thing might have a little bit of a comeback but we need to see a bounce. You got to see a bounce soon. Like, don't lose this level. You got a little bit of let me go to the 4-hour real quick. Yeah, I could see a little reversal kind of forming here. You're getting divergences like popping up on different time frames, I'd imagine, yeah. I mean, I'm seeing a little bit on the daily, a little bit of daily divergence. It's like moving up as price is pushing down to this level. So that's my biggest thing. I'm like watching that, and then I'm seeing maybe you got a little bit of a trend here. So what you probably want to see is, look, 4-hour, if this, maybe something like this, if this can hold this level here, break out, attack this neckline right there. That's a head inverse head and shoulders possibly, or maybe Adam and Eve potential if it does hold. Still early. And then if it breaks this neckline, man, SoFi is going to be off. It's going to be back above $20. So this is a big level, this 1950, 1960 level. And if you're looking on the lower time frames, like this is where you got to get back above, man. You got to start like give me some 1-hour market structure to hold this low at 1688, and I think this thing has a chance to, push up a bit. And if we're looking at daily levels, look, this thing is probably going to catch some resistance around that level I talked about, around $20, right? But if it breaks that, there's only one level between you and the high. It's this level right here. And then it's pretty much like you're running back up into this range here, into like where the high is at. So you can see how it was holding there. So maybe, man, it kind of looks like an Adam and Eve potential here, a double bottom if it could form. As long as it can hold that low, I think these are your levels to the upside. Get above like 1960, you got 22 above, and then possibly back up to 26. And you play it level by level, though. What do you think about shorting oil? I'll tell you a story about somebody who shorted oil. Some guy, I don't know if it was real or not. Ben says it's bullshit, but it was on X, and I commented on it. Some guy said he went long like 5 million or something on oil at $92, and it's at 40x leverage. It was like a $9 million position. So it started off like a $5 million position or $2 million position. I think he kept averaging down. So basically, if you're at 40x leverage, you can literally get liquidated if it moves 2.5% against you. And he got in at 92, and oil's now at 99. So he's liquidated. And I said that. I sent him the meme from South Park, and it's gone. And it got some good reactions. It was funny. I was happy. He's an idiot though, but I think Ben says it's a fake account, so he might be actually right there. Probably just some guy trying to get a little bit of clout. You know what I mean? Save your morning, go to sleep. I don't know what that means, man. I'm a night owl, brother. But I wouldn't go shorting oil. No, I'll be honest with you. And if you were going to short oil, this is where I would start. Wait for this trend to break. This is the trend I'm watching in my Discord right now. It's in there. So if you guys do want to join, tacticalhedgetraders.com, free to join courses. You can learn how to trade without having to pay a dime. And you can join the Discord for free and be around real traders. And if you're not following or subscribe, go ahead and do that, because you will get notifications when we go live 6 days a week talking about the market and what's happening and doing some live TA. Maybe you'll see a setup or get hint of a setup, but we're not like NFA. Just saying, not financial advice at all. But and yeah. So oil, man, I wouldn't go short until it loses this trend, my dude. It's probably not going to be good for your health or your wallet if you do. Pre-recorded live. You're absolutely right. Ask me like to read out like something funny, and then you'll know. So if it's a pre-recorded live or not. So will steak prices drop if cattle rolls? Yeah, I hope so, bro. They go up, man. Dude, that would be so great though, because like beef is kind of expensive right now. That's why Ben's eating all that pork over there in fucking Minnesota. I got to talk a lot of shit about him tonight. He said he was going to send me a dress to wear on live. Fucking guy. Nice. Oil futures. I've already went over oil. I've been trying to trade lately with $300 on CFD, and I just buy on dip and win like 80%. Fair enough, dude. If it's working, it's working. I'm not going to say, but I mean, how many times is this going to work until it doesn't work? You got to, hopefully you're buying on good levels. I mean, if you're buying on support, you should be okay, right? I think that's the key thing about trading is, don't buy in the middle of a fucking nowhere. Make sure you got some support and resistance. If you're going to be shorting at resistance, and don't short at like, don't be one of those guys zoomed in at the 15 minutes, marking out your levels. Start the daily or the weekly, hit those levels, mark them out. You'll have a very good chance that price will react at those levels, because that's how I trade. What's your trading strat? My trading strat is really simple, dude. It's this. I'll draw it out for you. No, not that. It's pretty much price does this, and then it eventually does this at one point. Right? When that happens, when that trend breaks, whether it's a long or a short, doesn't matter which direction the trend's happening, doesn't matter what time frame it is. I don't go lower than the 15-minute. When that happens, I pop a stop, probably somewhere. Try to get that back test. I don't care about catching the break. I don't want to be the liquidation. I don't want to be a fake out trap. I'll wait for the breakdown, and I will wait for the retest. Oftentimes, I can see this move coming because it'll also show itself in a form of divergences on my momentum oscillator that I like to use, which is the stochastic RSI. Free on TradingView, by the way. It's not a paid indicator or anything like that. It just shows me divergences, and I look for that market structure shift. You look for that high, lower high, low, lower high, and then that break. That's your break of structure. You see what I'm painting the picture right now? And that's the back test, and then you catch that down. You can do that in any direction. You can even do that on a 5-minute chart, and you will win more than you lose. As long as your risk management is good, you should be okay. And you can literally pop a stop above the last swing high, and then you're good. If you want to give it a little bit more breathing room for like a swing trade, you throw it above the swing high, not the previous high. And then normally what you would do, if you're scalping, you target that next swing low for easy TP, right? Or what you can do is try to run it the entire way back down to wherever the trend started. Because oftentimes most of the time you'll get full liquidity sweeps. Me, I've learned over time, I do this. I will target there, right? And I'm just giving you the whole strategy here, guys. But I'll take profits here, and I'll take profits here, and I'll leave some for there. That way, worst case scenario, if it decides to, put in a higher low, I got out of the trade with some money. That's how I trade. I hope that helped for whoever asked. I know when it was could probably draw that on. I say I can draw with a crown on a fucking napkin, but I think a little bit more than that, right? But yeah, it's simple, man. And if you want to learn, dude, join the Discord, man. TacticalEdgeTraders.com. We'll teach you, man. We got free courses. Ben will give you all the basics, everything you need to really get started. And we won't say go trade with money. Go get a system down. Join the Discord. Figure out. Just be a fly on the wall. Listen to people. You know, you're gonna get vibes in the market. There's gonna be people like you'll know. Like right now, we're risk off in the Discord. Everybody knows that. We're not like fucking bull posting constantly. We're like, you know, we're taking trades on the daily, trades on like the 4 hour. We're not holding trades for a couple days or weeks and stuff like that. And it's just the sentiment because we all been around long enough. Send some hearts to Eddie. Thank you, Ben. And smash that follow and that like, guys. Subscribe. You'll get notifications when I go live, when Ben goes live. And Ben kills it too, man. Ben's great on live. He talks shit a little bit more than I do. He gets flagged more for hate speech and being a bully. I'll never forget. He came back. He said somebody. He said I like ripped into some troll and I got flagged for being a bully and harassment. I started dying, dude. Because I was like, yeah, man, you are a bully. He's not. He's just a passionate dude, and he really like he'll talk, like, you know, he talks with passion, like he gives a fuck. Not like he's yelling at you, but you know, you get what I'm saying. I'm not reading that comment, dude. Someone said NRXP. I know we're chilling in here right now, but throw some charts out there too, because I don't have anything else I want to look at. Someone said some fucked up shit in the chat. Oh, you guys are crazy, man. I appreciate you guys hanging out on a Friday. Low key, honestly, there's not many things I'd rather be doing than just chilling with, you know, listening to music, having a good time by myself, whether it's by myself or with, you know, with you guys, but it's fun. I'll be honest with you, man. Whoever said NRXP is going to hit this July, I hope, man. I was like, hit what? At the bottom? It's already there. Sorry, dude. Oh, man, I'm talking shit tonight. It's Friday, guys. You got to give me a break. I'm gonna like kind of put my guard down a little bit. So look, you're in a downtrend. It's just been downtrending for a while, right? Like, I'm just using this line as like a representation. Like, it hasn't put in a new weekly high in a while. So, and it's lost the last swing low right here. So this is now resistance, and you're beneath it. So be mindful of that, right? And you got two levels. You've tapped this one level here around 159, and you could be coming down to this 113, which is probably where you're going, unless it starts to break some highs, man. It's got to start flipping structure, dude. Otherwise, this thing is just going to keep going down. So that's your resistance. This is your weekly support right now. It's in a tight little range. You're going to see what I mean in a minute when I zoom into the weekly or the daily. So you see our range in here? So it's going to have to pick a direction at some point. So get back above $2, man. It's on, you know, maybe it is back by July. And maybe you can attack some of these highs around 238, maybe around 278. But what I am going to tell you, that's probably not going to want to hear it. Like, it's never good when you see a head and shoulders at the bottom of a move. Like, that's really bad, dude. It's like, what the fuck? Like, usually they're at the reversal patterns, but when you see them like as a continuation pattern, that's kind of wild. So look, this is your levels, dude. Get back above that $2 mark. I think you're solid. Otherwise, you're coming down to test that 150-ish level, and if you lose that, it's back down to $1, dude. So I wouldn't go betting all your chips on this thing. Just wait, give it some time. Let it prove it to you. You know what I mean? Like, let it. You got time, dude. Let this thing, if it's going to do something, you know, you're not going to miss the move. You're going to see something happen. You're going to see structure form. You're going to see something that kind of gives you some indicators. You don't need to be the first one, and you just got to catch a decent part of the move, and you'll be happy. So at least get daily market structure to flip. So for that to happen, you got to break this $2 level and then back test it and hold it. So that's what I'm saying for NRXP. Yeah, bro. Can you repeat that, bro? No, fucking that whole thing. It's a lot, man. You know ICT? I know. I know they're a bunch of idiots. That's what I know about ICT. Dude, all ICT is, dude, they use this same, everything I've just talked about tonight, almost everything I've talked about tonight, like market structure, levels, like back testing. Like all they do is just rephrase a bunch of that shit and try to like rebrand it as something else and repackage it. Like the dude who like created ICT or whatever, he's not even a good trader. Like he understands how the charts move, but he doesn't understand what it is to be a trader. And I'll tell you what, TA is only like 10% of it. The other 90% is your psychology. And if you don't have that, man, you're never gonna make it. Futures, yeah, I trade futures. But I mean, look, I'm not saying it's wrong, but like no system is gonna make you a winner in trading if you can't manage your the mental side of it. And you're not going to be able to do that unless you understand, one, what it takes to be a trader, and surround yourself with other people who have been there and who've been able to drown out the noise and just execute. You know what I mean? So, yeah, and you can do that at Tactical Edge Trading. So, tacticaledgetraders.com. Check us out, guys. Also, like and subscribe, por favor. You've been getting nice results every day on Demo 10. Yeah, that's what's up, dude. Should you jump into FTMO prop firm? Look, if you don't have a lot of money, I don't know your situation, and you want to just give a test trying to trade with live money, then, maybe a prop firm will work. But you have to remember, prop firms are very stringent from like a regular trading strategy. Like you only can risk so much. They have rules. There's going to be a lot of it's going to make trading that much harder, and you're going to have to be that much more disciplined as a trader. So is it bad? No. But is it going to be easy? No. So that's what I would say about a prop firm. But if you do pass, then you you got it, man. If you can pass that thing right off of a paper account, you've mastered trading pretty much. You got the emotional side down. Who passionate? Ben Bitcoin. No, I'm talking about my Ben, dude. Oh, maybe it is this. Maybe it is that is. Is that Ben? Ben? Yeah, it might be him. I don't fucking know. Ben Bitcoin. Making up new words. Do you trade? Oh. Stringent's not a new word, dude. Look it up. Stringent just means strict. It's just another way to say strict, or like. So somebody wants to look up, do I ever trade AUX USD? No, I've never traded, but I hear it's good. I'm not a forex trader, dude. I don't even know if I can find that on here. Yeah, I don't even know where that's forex right here. You said AUX? No, I don't even know what that is. Anyway. No, I don't trade forex, dude, but I know there's some people on the Discord that actually do. I just never got into it, man. It's just so many things you can trade, like you can trade freaking cattle futures like we were talking about earlier. You can trade fucking so many different stocks, indices, commodities. Oh my god, there's just so many options out there. You got to like kind of pick a few and get used to them and follow those. Like I trade SPY, I trade Bitcoin, and I trade gold. Those are like the three things I like to trade like as a day trader. I'll swing trade anything though. If it looks good, I'll take it. Is gold. What the fuck? Yeah, I know XAU is gold, but somebody wrote AUX. I don't know what that has to do with gold. Anyway, Sandisk, man. I got a lot of scribbles here. Let's just look at this. So look, dude, it looks, I'll be honest with you, man. It's going to be, you're in a range, right? You're in a parallel. It's very simple. And whatever way you break is what it's going to be. Could this be a bull flag? Possibly. This could be a bull flag. You have a little bit of a trend here. Like, look, if this can start to break highs here, I think it's going to run. It's probably going to run back up at least to the high here. So, and it looks like it might want to. So that's really the target there. I'd be wild if this was an actual bull flag, though. Like, I mean, look, last time it did something like this. I'll just show you guys. We ran up pretty hard, so, but this could also be a topping pattern. This could just be a range, you know. I'm going to give you both sides of it. So it could also just be this, right? That could be one way to see it. It also could be just this. Simple as this. And we're just either, you know, however you look at it, we need to start breaking this and flipping that, you know, regardless of how you want to look at the pattern. This needs to turn in support, and then you continue up. If it comes back down here and it bounces, it's just going to continue to do this, right? Until it either does this or this. Those are the options. Bounce in between the levels, break out, or, I mean, it could sweep. It could do a bunch of fucky, like, weird stuff in between, but essentially that's how it's going to play out. Maybe it'll fake out and then run one way, you know, but, you know. So your levels are 535 to watch and 682. And I'd say after that, then you start looking up a little bit. And if it breaks down, I mean, you're looking, look, your first support, and the only support I see on the daily is down here, is at 455, right? Even on the weekly, it means nothing. On the weekly, you're looking at least down to there if this thing breaks down around 283. So just be mindful of that if you start to lose this low, around, what I say, 535? Yeah, right around there. Tesla Master. So that's Sandisk, guys. You said you used to be a scalper, you're now a swing trader. Catch trends. Yeah, dude. I'll tell you what, man, swing trading is a lot less stressful. If I could just swing trade and not do anything else, I'd be cool. But I'm a little bit, I kind of want to, like, I know scalping is the way to grow an account a little bit faster because, you know, if you can do it the right way and just day trade, you can compound quicker. Swing trades, you can often be in a swing trade for a few weeks or a couple days or whatever it may be. But, like, if you're in, you know, they don't always play out. So you can go a whole week in a swing trade and then the trade doesn't play out or something. And then you're, like, screwed. Like, you just wasted all that time on one trade. And if you're like me, you know, I don't open, like, multiple trades at one time because I just size up on one and just put my commitment into one or two, you know, at max. But yeah, it's tough, but, like, it's less stress, but you're not managing your position constantly. You just chill in the trade. And if it doesn't, you know, you set your stop, you're in validation, and you set your TPs. Yeah, Tesla ain't looking too hot, dude. By the way, guys, got like 35 people here watching. I appreciate all of you guys in TikTok. I can't really tell how many people are watching on YouTube. But if you could, hit that like, subscribe, follow. It does the channel some hearts, I guess, if you're on TikTok. It does the channel a lot of good, and it pushes our content out there to more viewers like yourself. And, you know, they also get notifications when we go live 6 days a week. And if you're interested, you can always check us out at tacticaledgetraders.com. Free courses and a portal to our Discord, which is free to join. Tesla, guys, Tesla. Look, sorry, I'm like squirrel mind right now. Support, you're pretty much at it. If you hold 382, and you can kind of start breaking some of these highs. Look, you got to break something, right? So let's start here. Start at this level. Get back above 418, and then you'll have that daily break of structure, right? That's a good start for a bullish pattern, you know? But if it just breaks down here and loses this level, well, guess what? You're probably coming back down to back test one of these levels here. You left a lot of liquidity behind on Tesla right there. See all that? Never got taken. That would be interesting. You know, I don't know if it gets all the way down. Maybe it just stops at this 350 and runs back up, right? But if it continues down, it could just grab all that and still, you know, continue up. I mean, bigger thing, right? Like, look what it did at the high. I'm going to go to the weekly and show you. So it swept the weekly high and it's starting to break down. It broke structure on the weekly. Like, I'm saying it now. Tesla's high is in for a little bit. And if I just zoom out, right? Like, remember I talked about trend lines. We lost trend. And if we lose this level at 382, you know, it's going to come down. It could theoretically, like if you just watch the charts enough, it could come take this entire move back. Like when it loses the money line like that, oftentimes you can get a full liquidity sweep back down here. So I just want to keep you in. You're bearishly postured right now. Like it's not great. So you know what I mean? You're losing. It's just you gotta like make up some ground here. Otherwise, it's not gonna look too hot. But look, the levels to break are the highs, and I mean that's the weekly level, dude. If you don't break the weekly high here, I mean anything but below that is a lower high. So, and you can see it's just kind of melting off a cliff right now. It just doesn't look healthy right now. And look at the volume. Volume's falling off a cliff too. Like, there's not much I can really say about Tesla that's bullish right now, but maybe it'll do something spectacular. I don't know. Yeah, I mean just chipping away at this level. Maybe it does get a bounce, but look, this is the best. This is probably bullish scenario, right? This is your bull case. It gets a bounce off this level, comes up, either test somewhere up here, back test maybe retest that, and then maybe get one of these. Maybe a little head and shoulders, maybe just a back test. But I just don't see like it just doesn't look like it's ready to go because this entire move up, and I'm going to show you something. This is some learning for y'all. After you get a big impulsive move like this, right? You should be watching you should always be mindful that the first major dump, like on a daily or weekly, like a big move down like that any high or low we put in and it starts to move sideways up, you should be like on edge that's basically going to put in a lower high. Expect like a lower high. Don't think it's just going to keep breaking, right? Because you lose structure on the daily and it runs down like that and it comes down that aggressively. Just think that it's going to do that. But here's the key. If during the move up, even if it comes back up to the highs, during the move up, if volume's continuing to fade out, it's probably people selling into the pump. Most likely. Because you need volume for price to go up. It's the one rule of trading. Like for price to move up, the volume has to be there. You need volume. And to go down, you don't need volume. So when volume is decreasing and price is going up, that's a divergence. That's telling me that people are fading this move. They're selling into it. So that's what I'm seeing on Tesla. Sorry, I got really deep on that one. But yeah, that's how I break down a chart sometimes. I mean, you can just use volume tools. These are all free tools on TradingView, guys. And I can teach you how to do all this stuff. So yeah, like Ben said, smash that like, follow, send some hearts to this, man. Yeah, you'll get notifications when we go live, man. I go live like 3-4 days a week. Ben goes live like the other days, usually like 2-3 days a week. And yeah, we just talk charts, man. We talk about the markets. We share our trading experience with you. We try to help out by looking at some charts in the chat and answering questions. Quick question: since MGC is closed, is there anything I can trade at the moment? I mean, you can trade crypto. You could trade futures if any futures markets are open, but I don't think oil and all the big things aren't. To be honest with you, the only thing that's really open right now is crypto that I know of on the weekends. If somebody else has anything else, let me know. Toss it in the chat for our friend. But yeah, dude, I mean, my advice, I probably wouldn't trade shit on the weekends, dude. Weekend's not the time to be a trader. Weekend's the time to go chill with your family, go touch some grass. If you're in a swing trade, different story, you know what I mean? But like the trade, like go looking to open trades on a weekend, you're playing with fire, and I'll tell you why. And this is just some advice because I've done this for a long time. You can tell me to fuck off and go do what you want to do at the end of the day. It doesn't matter, right? What I say. But a weekend, the volume's light. Big money, the big markets, Asia, London, New York, their market makers are closed. Like they're not out there, they're not out there. There's no big money in the market. So the volume is light. What does that do? It allows market makers and just like anybody who's like whales, big money, to manipulate the price. So they can do things that you normally wouldn't see. Your strategy could play out most of the times, right? But on a weekend, that you pretty much, your edge kind of declines. It's like, it's not good, man. You're allowed to have squirrel mind. Yeah, dude, I'm having a squirrel. I'm a squirrel right now. But yeah, dude, you could trade crypto, but like I said, I wouldn't trade the markets on the weekend. Worst part about Tesla is such a slow bleed. Long Brent. Brent's oil, man. We talked about it. It's just a little different. It's the global. I mean, I wouldn't go longing anything right now. If you were gonna long it, you should have longed it down here. This you should have got in down here when it was accumulating. You don't get in when it's pumping, or you should have got in maybe today. Was it today? Yeah, it was today. On this sweep right here, if you were a sweep trader, when they took this low, you could have jumped in all along, but you're breaking just above resistance. If you jump in long, well, you can't trade it now because of the weekend. But if you're trying to jump in after you've broken out, like the people down here, they're all in the money, and essentially they're going to take profits. It's like a big game of musical chairs. You have to think about trading like that. Do you want to be the one who's still standing when the music stops? And if you have a better chance of surviving if you got a better entry. The people with the better entries have the power. They have the ease of mind. Don't go chasing. When you chase, you put yourself in a bad position mentally to start that trade, and I guarantee you're either gonna fucking paper hand it or you're gonna ride that trade into the dirt, and you're gonna fucking, you know what I mean? You're gonna just be one of those traders that just stays into a trade until they get liquidated. I know a lot of traders like that because I was like that. But yeah, guys. I mean, I wouldn't go long in here, but look, we talked about oil earlier in the stream. I was quick overview. Look, man, you broke a little high right here. My next expectation's probably up here somewhere, right? If I'm looking at the lower time frames, this is probably your next level to watch, but really it's up here. Like, I mean, if you're looking at a higher time frame, weekly, daily, 4 hour, anything higher than the lower time frames, the high's up here. It's at 113. So, I mean, it's up until it's not. I wouldn't go fading it. But I wouldn't also go long in it because you kind of missed the move, unfortunately. How you play this, though, if you're looking for a long, this is what I would do, right? If we open up Monday or Sunday night, whenever the oil opens, I think it's Sunday. Let's say we're here. If it comes down and retests this and holds, I would look for a long there. That's not a bad place to take a long. Wait for a back test, wait for a higher low to form, then you get in. That's how you play breakouts like this. How do I feel about SPY? I think SPY's going to shit, bro. I think SPY's in 6,100 probably by the end of the year sometime. Going to 150 within a month. Yeah, dude, gold. I mean, oil might. Oil 100% might. That's not ascending triangle. Those break bullish. It could be, depending on how you look at it. I mean, this is whatever it is, man. But it broke a level. That's all we know. It was consolidating here, and it broke. And it's got a pretty good print and a pretty good close. And, I mean, let's be honest, dude. I mean, since down here, this thing is just running. Do you think you should buy on Tesla? No. Don't buy Tesla now, dude. No financial advice, but it's a bad time to buy it. Maybe it does run up from here, but if I was just going based off the charts, I probably wouldn't buy it until it was back down at. And this is, again, NFA, guys. I'll tell you where I would want to probably get in. You're going to hate me for this one. I'll tell you where I'd get in. Probably down here. Like right down there. 220 maybe. Why? I mean, you can tell you're going to hate me for this one. Because that's where it's going. Look at the trend, dude. I'm telling you, man. So look at this. Trend. Boom, right? Touch, boom. And eventually it's going to make its way back down here. It also lines up with that low. There's confluence there, man. Like, it's just going to happen. And it sucks. It sucks for my Tesla people. But here's the thing, though. Like, look, it's in an uptrend on the macro. Who gives a shit, right? If you're holding this thing from back down here, like fucking sub $100, you're chilling, dude. Like, hold that shit. Don't fucking sell it unless you're like a trader. But look, if it does come back down here, who cares? It's a good spot. It's a good place. Because guess what? This is what it's doing. Get what I'm saying? It's an uptrend in the higher time frames. I don't think Tesla's going to zero anytime, so it would be a good place to look. So that's my advice. Not financial advice, of course. Waiting for Nvidia to hit 170. Let me go look at Nvidia. Damn, dude. Wait, oh, I forgot they did the split. That's right. That's what I remember looking at Nvidia. It was like, sending triangles. Thanks for that. No problem, Jeffrey. Only tokenized stocks. Yes, coin. I can look at coin. I actually got a funny trade on coin that I'm like watching right now. I'll talk to you guys about. Is this Webull? No, this is TradingView. And I can look at BTC next. You'll buy Tesla at 200. I agree with you, Marcos. I'm thinking 200 too, man, would be nice, wouldn't it? I would probably buy some Tesla at 200. It's just, look, man, the market's this, I'm telling you right now, guys, if you're bullish, and that's cool, man, I get it. Like, I was there at one point in my life. I was like, still stuck in bull mode, and bear mode was already taken over, and I was a little late to the party. I've been there. I've done it. But I'll tell you what, bear markets should be encouraged. You want that shit. Because, look, the idea is you get a chance to reset and buy it low and sell it for that. Like, if you missed that entry, like, if you missed that low entry years ago on, like, gold, or you missed that low on Bitcoin, or you missed that low on the S&P last time it was bottomed out back in March, right? Think about it. Last year in March, when the tariffs, that low. So if you missed all that stuff, you want the pullbacks, because guess what? That's when you make your money. And if you just do that over and over, just chill out during the bear market, let it do its thing, and then put your money back into the market when risk is eventually back on, you can definitely, look, you'll outpace everything. Like, you'll be like your 401k, whatever you decide to do that with, you'll end up making a lot of money over time. It takes time though, but that's the way. Like, look here, I'll give you an example after I do Nvidia. So look, Nvidia, where I'd want to see Nvidia go would be nice if I saw Nvidia down here, right? This is where I'd be looking for Nvidia if we lose this level around 170, around 154. But do I think it's going to go lower than that? I don't know, but we have some confluence here, right? So there's your major trend. Could we get down to that trend? Possibly. So if it loses that 170, it could make its way back down here, and that could take us into the low 100s. But let's say you buy Nvidia here. You sell somewhere in this, maybe not all the way up here, but somewhere around this area, right? When you start to see a top. And then you start to accumulate maybe somewhere down here, depending where, or as it's going up. You start to accumulate here, and you start to sell, offload as it's going up, right? And then you buy it here. All you're doing is compounding your money, right? Look, you make 200%. Guess what? Now you have three times the money you had before, right? Guess what? That 3 times money you had, let's say you do it again, you just made what? Let's say you made 70%. Well, guess what? Now you have 70% more money to buy on the next dip. That's how you play the markets. That's how you trade. You can do it on different time frames, but I'm just giving you an example. That's how you invest. So you should be happy when it's a bear market, is what I'm saying. But I think Nvidia does come down. But this is the level we got to lose, right? This is where I think it's going to go to. Maybe 150, potentially down to that trend we talked about. But what I would want to see is this neckline lost. It's been consolidating here. It's been creating what I've been talking about this forever. It's fucking head and shoulders, guys. It is what it is. And I always said this. I've said this in the past to anybody who's listened to any of my lives or hears me rant in the Discord like a fucking maniac, because that's sometimes what I sound like in my head. But I said, you got to break this high around 193. Guess what they did? They swept the liquidity. You know where they're going? To sweep the liquidity before that high. They're coming down here to take this out at 171. So we lose this neckline. This thing plays out. It's probably coming down. This is what I'm seeing. This is we're starting to weaken. If it comes down, guess what? It's going down to that level I talked about. Potentially that trend. Maybe it doesn't do it in a few days. Maybe it takes weeks, months for it to happen. But eventually it's going to make its way down there, I think. It's not a trend I'm making up, guys. Look at this shit. Look how far back this goes. See what I mean? See how that plays out just nicely? When you see shit like that in the charts, that should be fucking, that should be like on your like watch list, like in the future. You should be setting alerts and you should be looking for that level to get hit, because oftentimes they do. And look at that trend. It's a multi-year trend. It's from 2022. Like, it's probably going to hold when we get to, I hope it holds. It would suck if it didn't. That would suck for everything. But yeah, man, I guarantee if Nvidia starts dumping, the whole market's coming down. You already seen the S&P. When Nvidia's down here, S&P will be back down at 6,000, 6,100. So NASDAQ will probably be lower because it's more heavy tech-based. So yeah, that would be awesome, man. That would be awesome, guys. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, please. So Ben can get his 10,000 likes. No, I'm kidding. So he doesn't beat me when I go back into Discord. No, I'm kidding. He doesn't beat me. He just verbally abuses me sometimes. I'm cool with it, though, because I verbally abuse him back. Lots of profanity between me and him. No, but hit that like, subscribe. You'll get notifications when we go live, guys. And follow if it's a follow button. Hit that heart on if you're on TikTok. And yeah, man, if you want to be part of a real trading group, if anything I'm saying right now, anything resonates with you, piquing your interest a little bit. If you're a trader and this sounds good, like oh, maybe this guy knows a little bit what he's talking about. Trust me, there's better traders than me in the Discord. Check us out, jackthewedgetraders.com. I'm not saying many better, like maybe like 4. I don't know. I'm being generous there. Maybe 2. But there's been traders that are better at doing what they do than me. Like, I am a breakout retest trader. I wait for breaks and I wait for retest of trends. Ben's the best SFP trader I think I've met. He can tell you all about sweeps. When it comes to like market structure, like identifying like market structure and like being real technical. Nick's very like trades the same way I trade. He's a little bit more technical, but he can tell you a lot more about why things do what they do than I can. And then there's guys I know that trade different than I do, and they do well. But yeah, what do you guys want to look at next? I looked at Nvidia, Amazon. Someone asked for Amazon and someone asked for something else. Amazon. That's the wrong Amazon, guys. There's a couple Amazons apparently. I went and charted an Amazon from a different country. I didn't realize it until the next day, and someone told me in the Discord. All right, so here's what I'm seeing on Amazon. Oh, it's 2 places it could go. The reason I have that drawn out there is because I think something like this might happen, right? We could be in we're in a weird spot. We lost the first trend, and we're bouncing on the bigger trend, right? That stems back from January 23. So what I'm watching for here to determine its next move, I need to see on the weekly, can we hold this trend around 200? We start losing 200, you're probably coming back down to 160, 150. But it's Amazon, right? I mean, people get their food delivered on Amazon. That stuff's never going to go down. It's a consumer. Is it a consumer staple, Ben? Would you consider Amazon that? I mean, I think it is. In today's day and age, I think Amazon might be a consumer staple. So people are putting their money into things like Walmart, Costco. Those things are going up because pharmaceuticals, because people are always going to need medicine. People are going to need food. People are going to need oil, energy. So that's why the prices are rising on energy costs. So those things are going to go up. Question is, does Amazon survive it? Is it a strong enough company? So what I'd be looking for, if it holds this low around 200, look for a back test. I'd be looking for the lower high. The high to break right now on the weekly is at 249, 250. Anything below here is a lower high, and it's already broken structure, right, on the weekly. And I'll explain that. Look, you get your high. You had your low established somewhere around here, even if you want to call this the low, whatever it is, right? And then you had your lower high. You broke it, and now anything below this, you're still in a market structure down on the weekly. So I would expect the trend to continue down. Does it take out this trend? I don't know. Maybe it ends up just consolidating for a bit. That could also happen. But your big levels, 200 and 250 to the upside. Your mistake is expecting to always. Oh yeah, dude, that's the biggest mistake everybody thinks. They think they're not, and they don't want to take a loss the first time they take Most traders, when they start, they expect they're going to win all their trades. And when they first like lose a trade, they're like fucking devastated by it. So they try to go switch their strategy up because they think it's the strategy, when it's really a probabilities game, man. You're not going to win 100%. The idea is even if your strategy is a 50-50 strategy, right? Like over time, you've back tested it and forward tested it and established that it actually is like, you win 50% of the time. If you have proper risk management and you're only risking like, let's say 1 for like 4 or 5, like risking one, let's say risking $100 to make $500, $400, or $500 every time you trade, you can lose 50% of your trades and be very profitable. But most good strategies will give you like a 60-70% win rate if you execute them properly and you stick to the strategy. Like a good strategy will give you a plus above the 50%. And if you have good risk management, you can even do a 100 to win 300 risk reward and be decent. I know traders that they don't take. I know traders that get like 12 to 20 risk reward ratios on trades because they're really good with their entries. So you can, when you understand risk management, you can really like maximize what you would win versus losing and still do it and not always be like one of those traders that get stopped out. Give myself hiccups. Chugging like fucking Diet Pepsi over here to stay awake. Oh, wow, are we? Yo, 30 subs from 2K on YouTube. Come on, guys, let's get some subs. Let's get that. Let me get the 2K, guys. That'd be awesome. Then I can go talk shit to everybody. Plus, you'll get notifications. We'll look at Celsius. We can look at some Celsius. Then I gotta look at something else after that. MU. Yeah, I got you. Let me make sure I didn't miss any. PLT. Oh, I gotta look at Bitcoin too. Somebody asked for Bitcoin a while back. And Microsoft. I got you. All right. All right. So I'll paint the picture here for you. I'm going to start this fresh. So last year, in February, we put in a low. And we've been trending up since that low, right? On Celsius. There's your trend. We had lost the trend. We also lost weekly structure here. We lost the weekly low. We've been unable to reclaim the weekly high to break structure back up. So this has never been, this loss, this break of structure has never been invalidated. And the only way it gets invalidated now is if we break above, right? For the market structure to be invalidated back to the upside, or validated rather. I'm using words. You got to break that high. At $58, that's the weekly high right now. You saw we wicked and we took the liquidity. My thinking here, and this is just the way my brain works, because just looking at the charts, we swept this high. We swept the liquidity above the high. Where would the liquidity on this time frame be now? Down here. The low that put in the high. That's where I think we're headed. So I think we're on our way down here at some point. Does it go there right away? I don't know. Maybe it chops around for a bit before it gets down here. But I think this is the next level to the downside I'll be watching on Celsius. Because right now it's in a bearish structure. How does that get invalidated? Simple. Break 58. Start breaking 58 and hold above there. Then I start to flip my tune and I start to look more to the all-time highs around 66. Until then, I think you're coming down to this 37, potentially lower. Does it come all the way down and take out the lows here? I don't know. Maybe. I don't want to get super bearish. Let's just play it level by level for now. But if it does lose this low, then yeah, maybe there's a chance that the $20 is coming. And it would make sense. And right now, look here, I'll make it even more, like, I'll show you even more, reason why. Right now, look, this is a range, right? If I just extend this out, this is the old trading range. If you gain acceptance back into this trading range, the rules of trading say that we're going to come down to the bottom of the range. Guess where the bottom of the range is? It just so happens to be that low we were talking about. So just keep that up. That's like a higher time frame analysis on it that could take months. So don't like get super, don't start fucking shorting the house right now, mortgaging your house to take a short. Like I said, it could very well pop back up and chop around here for a while and do this for a bit until it decides it's going to come down, or maybe it'll defy gravity in the rest of the market and go up, but I highly doubt that. That's just me. Just because it's hard to go against the entire market, and right now the market's postured bearish. So let's go look at MU. By the way, guys, if you are not part of the Discord, if you haven't checked out the website, it's tacticaledgetraders.com. We have free courses on there. We'll teach you to trade. We're not going to ask for a dime. It's all on the website. You can also join the Discord from the website. And there's some other cool features you could check out. I would highly recommend it. If you're not following, follow, subscribe, like. You help out the channel a huge amount, pushing us out to other viewers like yourself. And you also get notifications when I go live and when Ben goes live, and you won't miss maybe some crucial TA, maybe something you missed in the market. We're always on top of it because we have a whole Discord of people who are all throwing things out there. So if I'm not in front of a computer, I'm not sitting there staring at X or whatever's happening in the world, someone in the Discord's throwing it out there, and I'm always on top of it. We keep our finger on the pulse, and not as a group. It's not one person, it's all of us as a group making sure that information is shared. So benefits of being in the Discord, and the benefits of paying attention, because I take a lot of that information and I relay it right here to the live. So look, this is what's happening on Micron. Is it a bull flag? Maybe. We got to start breaking these highs. If it takes out this high around 432, I think there's a very good chance you're probably going to take the high at 451. Maybe. Do we break above that? Potentially. But for now, it's in a range. So if it can't break this resistance, then expect it to come down here and take out, just continue to do this until it doesn't. Or it does this, which that happens too sometimes. And if it does break down your levels, your big level on the weekly, on the daily is down here around 263. So the key here, right? I'm going to get rid of all this crap. Let's just make it very simple here. Get rid of all the trends, get rid of all the patterns. Simple. These are your levels to focus on. Lose 366, you're likely coming down to 265. Break 439, that's break the all-time high, and then you're going to continue up. That's all. The bull trend will continue. And if you kind of back, look, this thing's just been up for quite a bit of time now, so maybe it does consolidate for a little bit or pull back, and it would be healthy if it did. So those are your levels on MU. Let's go look at Microsoft. Somebody asked for that a while back. My bad. Microsoft's going in the dirt, by the way. Fuck. Yeah, look at this shit. All right, so I'll give you the higher time frame analysis, and I'll give you the lower time frame analysis. So higher time frame. This thing's been in an uptrend for a long time, right? It's trying to establish a trend right now. Like this trend back from 2022, since it continued up, right? Since it started its run. It's been finding support here. We find ourselves back there again. Let me just do this real quick so it's clear. So we find ourselves sitting at that same level once again. The question is, if it loses this, it's probably coming back down. My guess is probably coming back down to here somewhere, at least here. That high we broke back here, it was also that low. That's the next level to the downside, 347, if we lose this trend. If it loses that level, man, it's probably coming down. Maybe 300 it could hold, but then really it's down in the low 200s if it continues. But if it holds here, now look, this is the weekly level to watch, like right around here. This is where I'd be watching for this to pump back into. There's not much between us and that, right? Not a lot between us and there. And they also left behind some breadcrumbs, as I like to call it. It's a CME gap or a market gap. This is when the markets were closed. Price closed at one level and it opened at a different price. They leave behind gaps. Those are often filled at some point. So if it can find support here, and here's your bullish case. And I said I'd go down to a lower time frame, but the daily's pretty good for that. If it can hold this trend and form a higher low, maybe a head and shoulders, then guess what? The measured move, I'm going to go to the 4-hour for this. The measured move would take us right back up into that gap. So, could take us back up to 444. Now, once we hit this gap, it's going to serve as resistance. So just be mindful of that. The first pass, they usually don't break through. It's just something I've noticed. So if price does make its way back up here, it'll probably pull back initially. It's going to trap some traders because a lot of people will try to, long into this to assume that it's going to just fill this gap and they're going to catch a quick elevator ride up. And they oftentimes, market makers and smart money will trap people here. And you'll have people taking profits going into that because they know that. We've been around the markets long enough. You don't believe me? Go back test major gaps. I'm not talking about smaller ones, but go back to your daily, those higher time frames, and go look for some gaps, some levels, and look at how price reacts when they first attempt to enter them, whether it's from the upside or the downside. And you'll oftentimes see the first pass is a rejection, more often than not. So those are your levels on MSFT. Didn't even try to touch that gap, I know, right? Let's look at some Palantir. So you look at historical earnings reactions to anticipate next earnings. I don't really. So, like, you can. The only one I've ever done that with, I'll be honest with you, I've only ever done that with Nvidia. And the only reason I do that with Nvidia is because Nvidia is the number one. Like, it's the number one fucking stock to watch. Like, if you're not watching Nvidia at earnings, you're basically missing the Super Bowl of earnings. So I do pay attention to patterns into earnings. And Nvidia tends to, if you pump into earnings, most times you dump after. It's you buy the rumor, sell the news. And even if the earnings are good, I've noticed that happens. So it's like somebody knows the earnings are going to be good, so they front run it and they basically trap retail into it, and they basically use retail to exit. Because what does retail do when they see good earnings? They push buy. But, oh, good earnings, it must go up. Smart money's probably dumping into them. So that's the only one I do that with. You can do it with other ones, but I'll be honest with you, I don't know. I just don't have the time to watch every single stock on its earnings. I'll probably one day will find some more that I like to follow, but anyways, let's look at some Palantir, guys. Also, hit that like, subscribe, follow, get notifications when we go live. Also, check us out at tacticaledgetraders.com. And hey, you'll learn about some trading. We have some free courses in there. We don't gatekeep anything, guys. It's all free on the website. That's tacticaledgetraders.com, and you can also join the Discord from there. Say what's up when you're in there. My tag is Unfair Philly. I'm all over the Discord. Everybody knows I'm a conceited asshole. So look, Palantir, I've been talking about this level for a while here, and it's lost this level, and it's trying to backtest it. So the bulls are trying. I'll say that much. They're holding right now, but can they hold? That's the question. If they can hold this level at 148, the next major level is not up to at least 180, potentially up to 200. Those are the next levels to the upside, right? This was a head and shoulders pattern on the weekly, right? I've called this out a long time ago, by the way, on the lives and on Discord. And I said, hey, look, if this breaks this neckline, and it can't get back above, which it's getting back above the neckline, but to invalidate the head and shoulders, it has to break this shoulder here. And that sits up at $200. So this could theoretically backtest all the way up here and then still run down. What also happened when we lost this, we lost the weekly low. That was a high. Lower low, lower high, and then we lost that. That is a weekly market structure shift. So you expect the next lower high to continue the downtrend and confirm the market structure shift. If you were a swing trader, that's where you'd be looking to get short. You'd be looking for that next lower high to form, whether it's here where we're at, whether it's here up here. As long as it's below the last swing high, it can pretty much get up to that almost and still be market structure bearish. So, but look, hold 148, and then you might have a chance back up to 180, potentially 200 if they really want to run it back up and get people bullish and trapped again. But I would expect that's a bull trap if that does happen. And if you start to slip the 148 level, right, this is resistance again, and I expect this to continue down. And I think your next level is until down here, man, $65. That's a weekly level. Could we get bounces in some other places? Absolutely. We could find support at this level right here around 120. like anywhere from like 112 up to like 120-ish. There could be some support down here because you can see like price kind of chopped around here for a bit. Let me just move this real quick. See how price has been chopping around here? Got all this liquidity here. They could find a bounce here, right? I mean, we're getting a good reaction off the first little low right here. This low here. You see the reaction we're getting when we swept that liquidity. So we're getting a little pop. So maybe the next level is down here. 120. And then maybe 106. So like these are your like lower, your daily levels. So if you're looking for like daily like levels to trade, those are the levels I'd be watching to the downside. And to the upside, it's 170 up to 200. No, those are your levels. So that's Palantir, guys. He said it's going down. Yeah, you're probably right, Marcos. It probably only did get a bump because of the war. Palantir does the same with earnings. Yeah, dude, it's like a pattern, man. I say that a lot in the Discord. I'm always, you know how, look, if you're going to be a good trader or just be successful in the markets, you always have to be questioning. Look for the patterns, one. That's the one thing you look for. Look for patterns and things that happen when certain events happen. You'll see patterns. If price is pushing up into it, a big event like FOMC, typically I'm ready to fade it. I'm always questioning it. Why is it doing that? And if I have to question why price is doing something going into some type of event, then I'm like thinking other people are thinking the same thing, and people are probably going to fade it, or are always looking for the fade at that point. You're always looking for the trap. If you're always looking for the trap, you find yourself not being the guy trapped as much. If you're the guy who's not looking for the the trip wires and the booby traps, you're probably going to run into them. But if you're staring and you're looking for them and you're expecting them, you'll probably have a better chance of catching them, and then you'll stop yourself from making a mistake, getting yourself in a bad position. You know what I mean? I'm going to go look at SMCI, then Starbucks, and I think I'm going to call it after that, guys, because I'm going to go enjoy my night for a little bit. I figured I'd jump on, be going for about an hour and a half almost. So, yeah, dude, this thing, SMCI, super microchips, I said, look, if it can break this high here at $35, it's probably going to continue up, maybe to put in a little bit of a back test up here. Maybe it runs up to this. I mean, shit, the next level up is about $40. And if it breaks $40, you're probably going to be into the 50s somewhere, right? Let me get rid of this. But it all starts with what? Breaking this high. You got to break out of this little range you're in right now. Inversely, if you lose this low here, which is support around 28, your next level down is around $18. You see where we're at? You know what I mean? Like this is what we're dealing with right now. But if I want to just draw it out a different way for you, just paint a different picture, this is what I'm seeing. We broke down. It's not weird for price to push back up, put in a lower high, and then run back down. That is what we call a bearish retest. So I would expect something like that. And would it be a nice place to watch? See how price is trending down right there? That's why I had those lines drawn. That wouldn't be a bad place for price to push back into. Maybe back into this little area here. Put that lower high in, trap some bulls for the bearish retest. Smart money will be offloading here. Why? Because this. High, low, lower high. Then it broke the structure right there. And now your expectation is a lower high to confirm the market structure shift on the weekly. So that's simple, man. I pretty much been talking about market structure and back tests and stuff like that all day. So I hope you guys are picking up on it. It's the same trend, man. It's the same thing with a lot of these stocks right now. They're all postured bearishly. I'm not bullish on it, dude. Serene, did you miss everything I just said there? Bearish retest, bro. Or chick. No, I'm not bullish on it at all. I just think short term you could get a bounce potentially. Can't rule it out. I mean, look, things don't go down in straight lines just like they don't go up in straight lines. Oftentimes you do get these back tests. Although this one does go up in straight lines apparently. But usually you get ebbs and flows in the markets. You get pullbacks. You get, just like you're seeing here. Like this is not a straight down. Look at this. It's just kind of just chop city here. Like, it could do this down now. You know what I mean? This could be the pattern. Who knows? But yeah, you got to always expect, if you get too bearish when things have been going down for a while, you're going to end up getting yourself trapped. You know, you can miss out on nice little bounces. Nice little plays to the upside. Remember, stocks do the wiggles. Yeah, exactly. They do the wiggles because they have to induce traders, because at some point people are selling and the selling pressure kind of subsides, and then people aren't going to go short here. Like, smart money's not going to go short. So they're going to go seek liquidity, and they're going to come back and grab liquidity at the opposite end and then move it down. And that's how market makers move, because they don't want to leave behind. Because look, when price moves, let's say this is happening right here, right? You see this big move down. People are stacking their stop losses up here. They're putting stops on the way down. And the market makers know that. So eventually they're going to come squeeze these people out to continue down. They're going to use that as fuel and smart money will use that as fuel to load up to push price further down. Market makers can't just push it straight down, because they have to induce people to want to buy so the big money can sell. Or the right money. I'm not going to say the big money. Whoever's on the right side of the move. I could talk about this for days, though. How high do you think the bounce will be, and how long? Fast recap Bitcoin for the weekend. I'll do that before I leave. I got you. How high do you think a bounce will? Like 1 month? Dude, we might not even get a bounce. We might have just saw the bounce. Like, I'm telling you, dude, if the SPY rolls over tomorrow, man, I wouldn't expect anything to go up. Maybe gold. That's about it. But yeah, dude. Maybe we get the bounce. We'll see. But if it does, I would probably fade it pretty quickly. I wouldn't stick around. I would say, get out when it hits that first major level. What was the last one I said I was going to do? All right, let me go look at Bitcoin. All right, so Bitcoin, dude, look. Weekend analysis for Bitcoin. I'm going to just give you the 4-hour here. I'm not going to go too deep on this one. So here's what happened today. By the way, I had this target here. And I put that in the Discord last night when we broke from this. Right there. That was a play I gave. So look, we're breakout and we're back testing. If we hold this and we can stay above it, they're probably going to do something like this, where it continues to try to attack this high here. It's not going to break it on the first attempt, but it may try, it's going to attempt it. If it starts to lose this, then this is the low it's coming for. That's simple. It's coming back down to 69. If you lose 69K, it's probably coming back down to 65. That's it. You're going to lose structure there. It's not looking great. But for now, let me get rid of some of the shit I just drew. For now, low, higher low on the daily, right? We put in our first higher high right there. We broke out of this range. We need to see commitment here from the bulls. If they can't reclaim this level around 71,700, it's getting an acceptance back below this resistance. This would have been nothing more than a deviation. So this is the level to get back above, to get us back up to 74. And if we can do that and break 74, then I think my target's up here around 79, 80,000. And why do I think it goes up there? Because every time it gets up there, just get rid of my little stuff. Because every time it hits this trend since the high, all right, it just does this. And it breaks down. What are we doing right now? Just take everything away here. I'm sorry. I want you to see the full picture here, guys. What are we doing here right now? We're bear flagging. But doesn't mean we can't pop up a little bit. So we could come back up here. I think when we get back up to that level I talked about, 79, which lines up with that low right there. Right? What did we do last time? Right here. See the patterns? Well, you basically back test into the previous range low. Previous range or swing low. Back test into there. And it hits that trend, and I think something like that happens. That's just my macro, though. But that was the short term. That was your higher term on BTC. So if you see a pump this weekend, if you see a pump next week into 80K, don't go getting all super bullish and trying to fucking buy to the moon. It would be a mistake. Could this thing run back up to 90K? Possibly, if it really wants to. Could get all the way back up to like 95K. I think that's very unlikely. I think 80K is like, I thought 74K was probable, and it happened. Do I think 80K is like highly probable? No. I think it's like, I'd say like, it's like a 60-40 right now in my mind that we get up there. Do we get up to 90K? Is probably like 10%, 5% chance in my mind. I think we get up there. But I think we're more likely to come down here to 50K at some point. I think that's a higher probability. They eating the clock. Yeah, they are. They are wait. Yeah, just wait. Waiting is the way to go when it comes to trading. Anyways, guys, look, that was my last one. I've been going for about an hour and a half on a Friday night, hanging out with y'all. If you guys missed anything, you can always check out the YouTube. It's recorded on there, this live. You can always go back, take a look at some of the things we talked about, SPY, gold, all that fun stuff. If you're not following, if you're not subscribed, go ahead and do that. You will get notifications when we go live 6 days a week, Friday nights. I'll be live next Sunday at 9:30 p.m. Eastern. We'll be there to talk about the weekly open, CME open, start spotting out some moves for next week, going into next week's trading week. If you haven't checked out our website, tacticalhedgetraders.com, we offer free courses there. You just need to just sign up with an email. You can get free courses on how to trade. You'll have access to the Discord, which is free. Be around people you can talk to who are other like-minded individuals who are traders. We have full-time traders, aspiring full-time traders, part-time traders, people who are brand new or just learning. So all levels are welcome. If you do jump in, we do a CME group on Sundays. Not sure if we're doing it this week, but we'll probably will. CME group. And the last couple we've put together, we had CME open, and we've done planning for Sundays, like Sunday going into the week. Every single thing we talked about hit. Just going to throw that out there. And it wasn't me. It was actually Nick who ran that. So join the Discord. See you on Sunday. And I appreciate you guys for coming out. You guys have a great weekend, guys and girls.